Skye
Mhm.
Moore. Welcome to the
Thank
Care and
you.
Support podcast. We are
Mhm.
so happy to have you. You're such a special guest because from the time we met you during the focus group exercise, we fell in love with you and how much you love nursing and
Aw.
how much you're committed to your career, to your future career, and you're doing so much to get all the skills you need to move forward once you graduate. You're close to graduating, we know that.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for accepting our invitation to participate in this interview. And how are you feeling today?
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. I feel good today, thank you. Yeah, very excited to be here. I haven't really done an interview or a podcast in my life, so yeah, you start somewhere.
Yes, definitely. Well, today, as you know, we'll be talking about a day in the life of a nursing student, such as yourself.
Mhm.
So we will be asking you questions about, your daily life, what you do, and how much commitment and dedication you need to succeed as a nursing student.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so my first question for you is, are you in school full time currently?
Yes, I'm currently enrolled full time in my undergraduate nursing program, and I'm in my final semester of my fourth year.
Okay. And what inspired you to join nursing school?
Honestly, this is an unconventional answer. I think most people go with, oh, my mom or my sister or grandmother, whoever was a nurse, and I wanted to do that. That's not really the case for me. My mom and my grandmother did work at a big downtown hospital a long time ago, and they always liked that. Um, and so I guess there was some of that influence growing up. But honestly, I want a good job after graduation, something that's pandemic proof, recession proof, that you can, I guess, take anywhere. Um, and just knowing that I'm doing something good with my life and impacting the lives of others in a positive way. Um, yeah, I guess that's, I
I
hope that
love
makes sense.
how you said that you were looking for something pandemic proof and recession proof because it speaks a lot about how um, you know college age people these days need to think these things before making a decision, a life changing decision. The pandemic has changed the world and it has changed the way that kids in high school look at their future and
Mhm.
make decisions based on that. So I love that you said that. Very realistic, and it tells that you're very down to earth.
Oh, thank you. I try to be practical whenever I can.
Definitely. Okay, so tell us a little bit of your regular day, your regular school day. What does it look like to you?
Well, so my final semester, I am only taking two courses right now. One is my nursing practice course, and then the other one is a professional nursing elective course, and I'm taking women's health. So currently, Monday is my, I guess, like school day. So I
Mm-hmm.
have my women's health class early in the afternoon, and then my conference group for the practice course late afternoon, early evening. And then the rest of the week, I'm at my clinical placement. I'm at a long term care home this semester. It's a very different experience than my past clinical rotations,
Mm-hmm.
mostly which have been in acute care and like medical orthopedic rehab.
Those you said placements, you mean practical placements, right?
Yes, yes,
Clinical. Yeah.
yes. My in-person hands-on field training,
Hmm.
but the majority, all my classes this year and the conference, they're all virtual.
Oh, virtual. Okay. So
Yeah.
those I would say practices, how do you feel about that? Being able to practice what you learn in the classrooms and just have that hands-on experience. How do you feel about that? And tell me about the first time you had that experience. What was it like?
Oh, so my first clinical placement was at a long-term care home. This was March of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
As a first year nursing student, we didn't have training For more of the advanced skills like injections, medication administration, wound care, that kind of thing, it
Mm-hmm.
was mostly like therapeutic communication, how to, transferring someone from bed to wheelchair, wheelchair to bed, feeding, personal care, that kind of thing. Um, in the lab, you have mannequins and you can kind of use your friends as um, to like to play out a situation.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when you're in real life and you're dealing with like older people in long-term care, you don't know, these people are strangers to you, and they have different, I guess, physical issues. Being older, maybe they have arthritis or a hip replacement that makes it harder for them to get around in comparison to someone who's 22 and they don't have any issues getting around.
Wow,
So
yeah.
sorry, I guess real world, what you do in
Mm-hmm.
like your clinical practice setting, and then when you graduate, from what I've heard from other people, is totally different than what you learn in school.
Yeah, definitely. I can see how that can be a bit of a shock at first,
Hmm.
for students. So do you live close to campus or do you have a long commute when you were going to physical classes, that is?
Oh, I no, I live fairly close to campus. It was
Okay.
maybe about half an hour, 40 minutes on the TTC,
Mm-hmm.
depending on traffic.
Oh, okay. So you were before the pandemic one of the students that commuted to school, and obviously that was
Hmm.
part of your routine as
Oh
well.
yeah, very
And
much
can you tell
so.
me a bit more about your pre-COVID routine as a nursing student?
Sure. Oh gosh, those were the days. So pre-COVID, I was in person full time in my first and second year of the program. On the days that I would have classes, I would wake up probably around 6, get ready, have breakfast, pack my stuff, and run out the door, and then spend a number of hours on campus, whether that was for a full day of lectures or a lab day or a mix of both. In between, I would go to the library, study, panic over deadlines, um, or also just have a cup of coffee with a friend in between. Just hanging out around downtown, I guess. If there were larger breaks. Um, but pre-COVID, when I would go to my clinical placement, in the first 2 years of my program, your clinical placement experience, you're in a group of 8 students with one clinical instructor, and you go to the same practice spot about once a week, every week for 12 weeks together. And back in those times, you did not have to wear a face mask, like a surgical mask, unless it was warranted for if the person was on like some kind of um, contact precaution, or even just there was something that smelled unpleasant. You could just pop that on and
Mhm.
yeah.
Wow, yeah, very different now. You'll have to wear a mask for every possible scenario. So,
I think so, except eating lunch.
well, right. So, just thinking about that pre-COVID experience, was it everything you wished for, or you were hoping for, or you expected when you graduated high school?
Hmm. I want to say maybe yes and no. I would say no because I found that high school did not prepare me at all
Mm-hmm.
for university. It didn't prepare me for the practicalities of starting my adult life. So there was a significant learning curve in that respect. Also, too, in high school, I was pretty much a straight A student. I finished
Oh.
high school with an 85 average. And then when I was in first year, getting like a B minus was considered like great. And I know myself and a lot of my peers had a hard time. We would study so hard for a test and then get like a B minus or a C plus. And we're like, how is this even possible? But post secondary is completely different from high school.
That's so good. I asked you the question because I know a lot of future nursing students are hoping and expecting that things are going to be similar to high school when they get to college, and that the
Hmm.
experiences, are going to be, the same, but then they get very disappointed after the first year, and that's when,
Hmm.
a lot of dropout, academic dropout happens. So that's why I want
Yeah.
you to share your experience there. And what do you think helped you adjust, make the
Mm.
transition better?
Honestly, I think finding a few really good friends within the first maybe month or two of classes, you form a group,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily just as a study group, but just a few really good friends that can help you when you need it. You can help them when they need some more support, but also just to make quality of life better, navigating the intricacies and the complexities of post secondary life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess like trying to join maybe student support groups if they're offered at any given college or university, like a first year maybe anatomy group. Um, they had that when I was in first year, and each week they had a senior student from the program come in and talk to us about what the prof talked about in the last week, broke it down, and just helped to put it into more plain English, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. Definitely, that sounds very helpful. Um, I would say, did you ever approach students from other years, like seniors, and just to get a better idea of how to succeed in school?
I did, yes. When I was in first year, they had the school was offering a mentorship program, so you could be matched with a third or fourth year student from your program or a program within the same faculty.
Hmm.
And they were like a big buddy almost. And they would answer questions, tell you about their experiences, and it was kind of like big brother, little brother kind of thing. You could go, they take you out for lunch or coffee, or just hang out on campus.
Wow, yeah, that's good too. I said that because I did the same when I was in
Oh.
college, and it really works just to see what others went through and how that can be helpful to you.
Hmm.
So I have a question. Well, I guess this connects with the question that I already had. What did you wish you knew before, what do you wish you knew before starting college? And even before applying?
Oh, geez, that's a loaded question. I wish I knew what were good study methods, and because they don't really, I didn't have that opportunity to be given those tips and tricks in high school. And then
Hmm.
when I started university, it was pretty much figure it out yourself. So definitely that, and how to do scholarly writing and do APA formatting.
Oh yeah.
The, I really struggled with that for my first 2 years of the program. Then once I kind of, well, humbly say mastered it. Caveat, still not perfect, but close
No
enough.
need to be humble. It's hard. There's a lot of rules and they keep changing.
They do, especially with when I started school, they were using the sixth edition for APA.
Hmm.
And then this year, some of my nursing classes wanted us to use the APA seventh edition, but we were never really given a formal instructive class about this is how you do it. It's just here's a document, go for it.
Yeah, and the
um,
citations are so complicated. That's where I had the hardest time, I remember.
no, no, there, it's not for the faint of heart, you can say.
Mhm.
Um, and I guess in terms of like other things that might be totally new when you make the jump from high school to post secondary would be time management. That's something I've struggled with on and off for a good chunk of my teenage and adult life.
Mhm.
Especially, in post secondary, a lot of people have part time jobs. They have lots of other personal relationships that they're trying to balance, in addition to being a full time or part time student, tests, readings, homework, practicums. So it's actually very overwhelming. But when you have the right support system, I find, and you're able to, um, I guess, dedicate time for certain things, balancing your professional life and your personal life, you'll have a more successful result in the end, I think.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes. And based on your experience, what's that advice you would give to future nursing students?
Ooh, I would say really make sure that you research the programs you want to apply to, whether that's university, college, or the collaborative programs where a university has partnership with college sites.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're able to go to an open house, whether that's virtual or in person, speak to the faculty. Maybe they would have some representatives from like student groups, like a first year student rep, for example. And honestly, if there's a way to even connect, like through social media, with students in whatever nursing program that that person is interested in, to really get a real life sense of what a real, sorry, what an individual's experience is like. However, also being mindful of just because someone has a good or bad experience doesn't mean that you're going to have the same result.
Mm-hmm.
um, and just realizing that it's a very personal experience for becoming a nurse and going through that kind of health science program. And even in my time in the program, I've also met some adults who it's a second career for them. They're in their maybe late 30s, early 40s. They've got a couple of kids, they're married, they've got a home. um, so really making sure that you're supported through family and friends, and that the schools also do have quite a number of supports for people of mature students, uh, international students, second career, that you're not going to be alone and that there's lots of supports in place. You just need to know where to look.
Yeah, well said. Definitely. You just look for resources. They're out there. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say my last question is, what are your plans after graduation? I know that, a lot of it feels kind of uncertain right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I know
For
that
sure.
you have plans, so maybe there's something you want to share.
Oh, for sure. So I will be done in April. Thankfully, I don't have any final exams. I'm very grateful for that. But once I get my degree, I plan on writing the NCLEX, which is um, the board licensing exam. So once I pass that, I'll be a registered nurse. I'll register with the College of Nurses of Ontario, and then I can practice anywhere in the province. In terms of what kind of, I guess my dream job would be to work for public health for the city of Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
maybe outpatient care in some kind of clinic at a hospital or in the community. Um, but other than that, I guess down the road, I'd like to go back to school and do something else in the future, but that's a while away.
Well, sounds good. Sounds like you have everything mapped out, and honestly, I know that you will succeed because you seem to be very prepared and resourceful. So we
Thank
definitely
you.
wish you all the luck in the world in your career, and it's gonna be great. I'm sure. Well,
Oh, thank you.
thank you for
Mm,
joining us, and I just want to let you with this. Caring support is here for you. It's not just
mm,
in the name, it's actually what we do. And we will be here to walk with you every step of the way. Just
mm,
right, like right now that you will be soon starting April looking for jobs once you get your registration, and
mhm,
then down the line if you want to change employments. We are a community where we welcome everybody from the healthcare sector, and nurses
mhm.
are a big part of that. So we definitely would love to join you in your journey.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate the support and the care, pun intended. But
Definitely.
caring support is a great platform, for people of any, I guess, healthcare background looking for more flexible employment. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining
Mm,
us, and we'll be in touch.
okay. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.